This is a flight I did a while back in my Longranger, Romeo Golf Whiskey, from the helipad at Dragon Peaks. Getting airborne in the 06 direction. We're heading out towards Bell Park and then up over Jacob's Ladder towards the KwaZulu, and then heading off back down onto the Little Berg into the Bell Park again and heading home. So enjoy it. The start in the Longranger usually takes about 2 to 3 minutes. Once you've wound up, you have to let the turbine warm up, and then you have to take the RPM up from ground idle to flight RPM. Slowly tweak it up, keeping her below normally about 40% torque. There we go. As we start to lift, I keep her nice and low as we slowly build up speed to about 40 knots. So at this stage, if we have an engine failure, we can easily put her down and avoid the dead man's curve. And there over 40 knots there, I start to climb away from the airfield and start easing off, bringing her down to about 75-80% torque as we start our climb up towards the mountain. I'm following one of the fire brake lines up towards Jacob's Ladder. You'll see quite clearly just off the front as the fire brake line goes up at an angle where the path goes up and then zigzags onto the top of the Little Berg, and that's where the section gets its name, the Jacob's Ladder. So the Little Berg's about 7,000 feet above sea level in average altitude and composed primarily of sedimentary sandstones. Now this is the altitude. You'll see there just going below the window now, quite a lot of overhangs and little caves in the Little Berg, and this is where you find the majority of your Bushman paintings. Coming into view now is the high escarpment. Forms the natural border between South Africa and the Kingdom of Lesotho on this side here, and averages around about 12 to 13,000 feet above sea level. Now the main escarpment is composed primarily of volcanic basalt and was formed from fissure volcanic eruptions. The Umhlazini River Gorge coming up below now as we continue up towards Gatburg. Coming up to Gatburg on our bottom left down there, and then further off the left you've got the little amphilet, the turret. To the right of that, Sturkhorn, the big flat one, Cathkin, the V-gap, and then Monk's Cow and Champagne Castle making the back of the valley there, the Dragon's Back below us. We make our way around the Dragon's Back and into the KwaZulu Valley, with the Eastman's Ridge forming the right-hand side of the valley. The top end of the KwaZulu Valley is known as the Vulture's Retreat. On the cliffs above there's white marks. I don't know if you'll see them on the video, but there's a big Cape Griffin vulture colony living up here. There's some beautiful waterfalls, usually in summer, coming in these gullies. Fortunately it's still winter this video is taken, so most of it is dry at this stage. This is the highest point that we usually get to on a scenic flight, about 8,500 feet. As we turn, going back down the KwaZulu Valley, and with the Eastman's Ridge on our left and the Dragon's Back on our right hand side. flying down the KwaZulu Valley. This river flows down and then goes into the Kwa-Zulu River, and they two go down to the Mthombondra, which comes down from Cathedral Peak, and that then in turn flows into the Tugela River. The slopes of the Little Berg are lined with proteas. You'll see them especially on the right hand side there. We get two different varieties here in the Drakensberg, the Drakensberg common protea and then the Drakensberg dwarf protea. More than that, I'm not too horticulturally clued up on. So we're coming back up to the back end of the Little Berg as we head back towards Dragon Peaks. As we go over the Little Berg, the earth dramatically falls away, and this often gets a few gasps from passengers on the flights. Turning final approach to 2-4 at Dragon Peaks. Usually we're having to now brake and decelerate from about 110 knots. And you gently bring the nose up to about 10 degrees and slowly bleed off the speed. Once I touch down, I roll the throttle off on the collective down to ground idle, and now we've got about a 2-minute cool down period for the turbine to get its internal temperatures down to about 450 degrees Celsius. Generally in flight we're sitting at around 700 to 750 degrees, so it's quite warm. And just need to let it sit at ground idle to cool down. So this flight was done in Zulu Sierra Romeo Golf Whiskey, my Bell Longranger. She's L1, 1979 model with the C28 Rolls-Royce turbine engine in. She's a very good machine, good strong engine, and the L1s have a very nice light airframe compared to the subsequent derivations. I've owned this machine now for 5 years, and now she's on her second engine. I had the engine overhauled about 2 years ago. The next big one will be the main rotor blades coming up, probably towards the end of the year, have to be replaced. Join me on my next video where we go out and explore a little bit with my Beechcraft Debonair Charlie Whiskey Oscar. Please give my video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Safe flyings, and catch up with you guys on the next video.